So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. Because we've just finished, or I've just finished, watching this absolute tripe between Brentford and, of course, Manchester United. So I'm going to leave you my thoughts on what's happening here. As always, you guys, of course, let me know in the comments below. I don't know how many subscribers are actually Man United fans. I probably should find out how many of you guys do support Manchester United. But, I mean, let's just go over it, right? It didn't start too bad. Like, within the first 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, we were actually a little bit of high pressing. But then as soon as they scored that goal after 10 minutes, and David De Gea, by the way, today, absolute nightmare. I mean, we've seen David De Gea in the past mess up and do silly things like he did today. And then it happens again, like out of the blue. And, you know, it's not just his... I don't know if he just stops thinking what he's doing. I mean, it was a very, very routine save for him to miss that. All you got to do is put your two hands behind it as a goalkeeper, and guess what? You'll stop that ball. He didn't. He switched off. And then after that, he plays a ridiculous ball to Eriksen. I mean, yeah, Eriksen lost possession, but he had no support. The only place Eriksen could have passed that ball was to whoever's on the right. I mean, Dalot, I think it was on the right-hand side. Couldn't get it to him. Brentford steals it, and then they scored another one. And then they score from a corner, because we know we can't defend from corners. Once again, David De Gea all over the place. He has no authority at all, David De Gea, when it comes to claiming balls for crosses. He's just not good enough. And then their last goal, it was a really nice counter on their part. I'll give them credit for that. But once again, defensively, all over the place. And then once that happened, game was done. And the game was done after 2 goals, to be honest, because we can't score, but we can concede. So yeah, that's kind of it. And then the second half, if you guys didn't watch it, yeah, we had a lot of possession. We had some chances. Ronaldo had some headers, could have scored, but the game was finished. You can't really base a match off the second half anyway, because Brentford had already done what was needed. They high-pressed us. They caught us with the trousers down because a lot of our players wet themselves, and then that's it. Game's finished. But let's talk about it, right? So first of all, Ten Hag. I will say he's kind of put himself in this situation by starting the lineup that he started. Let's go to it, shall we? Let's click on this and actually look at the lineups. And there it is. Don't care about Brentford. There's Man United, right? So, obviously, David De Gea in goal. You normally would have started him, fair enough. Martinez, okay, but then you've got Harry Maguire. I'm going to talk about Harry very, very quickly. I don't really know why our managers, you know, we've had numerous managers now that keep playing Harry Maguire, and just because he's captain is why he's playing. That's pretty much why. So Ten Hag comes in and he doesn't want to get rid of Harry Maguire and say, all right, I don't want to give him the captaincy, we'll keep him, and then he says some nice words about him even though he's useless. Look, he's not good enough. We have Raphael Varane and now we've got Martinez. Start those two together. Drop Harry Maguire. So by already playing Harry, we're already at a deficit. He's not fast enough. His decision making is poor. And once he gets caught, it's done. He hasn't got the pace to catch anyone. He couldn't catch Mr. Blobby if he tried. So Ten Hag is already putting himself in this situation by starting players like Harry Maguire when you have Martinez and you have Varane. That would have probably stopped a few problems. I didn't think Martinez had a terrible first half. Harry Maguire gave the ball away more than him. Then you've got Luke Shaw. Don't really know what's happened to him. He's gone down the pecking order again. Dalot on the right is having a nightmare, but then who else do we have? So he should have started Malacia at the left-back role, Martinez, Varane, and then I guess you've got Dalot. Who was on the bench? Was Wan-Bissaka on the bench? I mean, he could have started Wan-Bissaka, and he probably will in the next game. So he could have gone for that back line. Then you come into the midfield. Now, we know we're not going to do the whole McFred thing. So Ten Hag decided we're going to start Fred, Bruno, and Eriksen, right? Fred, all right, fine. You're going to play him as a DMF. We don't really have anyone else. I will say, and I keep saying it, he has to start trying out the youth players now. You can't keep giving these players chances and chances and chances to show what they can do when they don't show anything. And there are players on the bench that probably want to try and actually do something for the club. For instance, someone like Garner, right down there. Start James Garner, okay? Start the likes of Van der Beek, give him a shot. I mean, Garnacho wasn't on the bench today, from what I can see. But, you know, those are types of players. Why is Garnacho? Oh, he is there. Sorry, yeah, they've got his last name at the bottom. So, you know, Garnacho should be starting as well. But anyway, talking about the midfield, I don't know what's happened to Bruno Fernandes, right? He's gone missing. He's having a nightmare. He gets annoyed. And when Bruno starts throwing a tantrum, guess what? We get nothing from him. He does nothing. Eriksen, for me, would be on the starting lineup every time. I know he gave away that second goal, but as I said, that was more De Gea giving a stupid pass. You never, ever, as a goalie, give the ball to your centre midfielder in your own penalty box when you've got another player coming up his backside. Just clear it. And you could see when they conceded that goal that Eriksen was telling De Gea, what are you doing? Just get rid of the ball. But yes, I would start Eriksen. That's fine. Bruno needs to be dropped. As I said, he's not doing anything. I don't know who else you bring in there right now. Maybe try Donny van der Beek, Eriksen and Garner. Try that combination out, Ten Hag, because this isn't working. McTominay came on in the second half and was god-awful. He gave the ball time and time and time again away. He got another yellow card, so he's had 2 yellows now in 2 games. Just don't start McTominay, please. Waste of space. Then we look at the wingers. I mean, what can we say? You've got Sancho, he's been awful, absolutely awful, folks, since we've picked him up. I don't know what's happened to him. There's no confidence about him. Every time he gets the ball, he does a few step overs, then he passes it back to Dalot. What's the point? You're an attacking winger. You're meant to be attacking players. Take them on, create chances. When Rashford and Sancho aren't getting the ball, don't want to get involved, they don't attack players, we don't create nothing. A player like Cristiano Ronaldo, who's decent in the air, he's not going to get anything. All that's happening now is the likes of Eriksen is trying to force balls into the box from way, way, way behind the byline because Sancho and Rashford can't do anything. And then obviously we've got Ronaldo up top. We don't really have anyone else up top right now. What else are you going to say? So yeah, I do feel like Ten Hag kind of shot himself in the foot by playing this kind of a lineup. Rashford's been rubbish for seasons. Sancho's done nothing all season last season. You can mix it up, you can try things. And if he doesn't mix and change the lineup against the old Liverpool, I don't know what to say. You can't concede and lose 4-0 to Brentford and then not change at least 6 or 7 or 8 players. I would drop David De Gea. I would. I'd put in another goalie. Stick someone else in. And then at the back, I go Malacia, Martinez, Varane. I mean, Wan-Bissaka, if you want, try him out. He's got a little bit of pace. Go for that back line. Try it for the next game. In the middle, go for Eriksen, Garner, and Donny van der Beek. Drop Bruno, drop Fred. Who cares? And then on the flanks, go for Elanga, go for Garnacho, and do Ronaldo. And see how they play. Okay? Because it can't get any worse. And I know people will come in and say, well, they're just youth players. I don't care. At some point, you're always a youth player. If you're not given the chance, you're never going to evolve. You're never going to adapt to the league. Man United used to always be about youth players. When we had Beckham, you know, and all the players that came through the ranks. Paul Scholes in the middle. You had the Nevilles. They all came through the ranks. And Sir Alex Ferguson nurtured them and got them to play together as a unit. There is no chemistry at all in this team. Nothing. Every time we get the ball, it's slow, it's boring to watch, there's no purpose. The only time we look like a threat is when we're 4-0 down and the other team's given up and they're like, here, have the ball. Why do we care? We've already won this game. So yeah, by the second half, folks, I'd already forgotten. You know, I tweeting a lot today. I was tweeting out a lot of stuff, and just follow me on Twitter, by the way, because that's where I'm most active. But yeah, what do you guys think? You let me know. What lineup would you put out against Liverpool? It's not going to be good. I mean, you put out what you put out. My concern is that Ten Hag is not going to do much. He might make 1 or 2 changes, and that's about it. But there's more needed than that. Harry Maguire, for instance, he's not captain material. I don't know what these managers... What do these managers see in Harry Maguire? Is it just because he's English? Is it just because he's a captain, so we can't change the captain? You can change what you want. You are the manager, Ten Hag. Do what you want. These players should be playing for you. I will say one thing they need to do, and it's not legit and it will never happen. Don't give them any wages until they've played the match each week. And if they've actually deserved it, then give them the wages. Seriously, we'll see how hard players work when you won't pay them. I mean, how many jobs, right, where you get paid 100, 200, 300,000 plus a week, you can play this bad and this useless consistently but still get paid. You wouldn't. You would have got fired by now. I know if it was in my job and I was messing up each week, my boss would say, I'm sorry, I've given you like 55 chances. I'm going to have to let you go. But at Manchester United, we don't have this mindset. Obviously, it's talk about the Glazers and stuff, but I don't want to get into that. This isn't about the Glazers. This is about the players getting on the field and just looking like an absolute mess. An absolute mess. And then when you bring on players like McTominay, who can't even pass the ball, it just looks even worse. It's embarrassing, folks. Anyway, that's about it. I'm not going to have a whopper of a rant, but, 10 minutes or so of me just telling you my thoughts. And that's my thoughts. Like, as a manager, that's what I would do. I would completely gut this team and just don't play players that don't look like they should be in this team or even in the... I mean, we are... The embarrassing thing is, folks, we are getting to the point now. We're a laughing stock. I mean, we're past that. You look at Brentford today and you look at the manager. He was telling his players in all game, or especially at the beginning, to just push. Push up and don't let Man United get out of their own half, because they don't know how to pass and they can't string balls together. And when then Rashford gets the ball and doesn't do anything, Sancho gets the ball and doesn't do anything, there's no worries. Every team that we face now knows at some point within the first 10-15 minutes they're going to get a chance. If they score that goal, the game's probably done. We don't have the ability to come from behind anymore. And we are literally now, folks, we're not even a top 10 team at this rate. We're going to be fighting for relegation unless something major happens. And I know that might be extreme, and is extreme, because there's a long way to go. And I do feel like we are going to get better. It can't get worse. It really can't. In fact, it's worse this season than it was last season. Didn't we win our first few games last season? I don't know. But this season, we've lost both of them. Not against the best opponents, by the way. I mean, not to say Brentford aren't respectable. They've got better, of course, and they've got a good manager. But you shouldn't be walking away against Brentford and losing 4-0 and you're Man United. It just shouldn't happen. I feel bad for the fans. I really do. I feel bad for the season ticket holders that have to go and watch this tripe every week, because the players just don't seem to care. Certain players will. I thought, honestly, Malacia, when he came on as left back, he looked promising. He has to start the next game. He looked more involved than Luke Shaw. He's got more pace about him. Blimey, folks. Anyway, that's all I got to say. You guys let me know, but this is a mess. I mean, now let's have a look at it, folks. Let's have a look at the actual league table. So there it is. You've got Man City scoring 6 goals in 2 games. You've got Arsenal up there, 6 goals in 2 games. Look at Brentford flying high. And down the bottom of the table, there we are. Manchester United embarrassing themselves with a -5 goal difference already. We conceded 50-something goals last season, folks. Harry Maguire, I'm telling you, is part of the problem because he's too slow. He's too slow. Anyway, that's enough. I could go on all day. Let me know your thoughts. As always, we'll return shortly, but until next time, take care.